Okay, my name is Jacqueline Holland Silver, and I have been a member of Riverview since the early 1980s. My son was a member, but he is not at the present. Reverend Dr. Ralph Rivas and Reverend Dr. Stephen Hewlett. And I believe the next thing I did was I became a deacon. I was installed as a deacon. Well, the one that I remember the Mass Choir, the Riverview Mass Choir, and I also, of course, remember the Gospel Choir.
Now, if you would, share with us just a few of your fondest memories or occasions at Riverview Baptist Church.
What I remember very fondly is homecoming. That's because it's always been a family event, and I remember working in the kitchen, helping to serve, and just enjoying the unity with the people and seeing folks sometimes who you haven't seen for a while, and serving the people for homecoming.
So this will be our final question today.
All
Finally, as an esteemed honoree for this church anniversary and as a church elder, what encouraging advice would you give to Riverview churchgoers in today's day and age?
I would say pray. Know that God is always present in our lives. And sometimes when things may seem discouraging, just take a moment to think about whose we are, because we're all God's children, and He loves us.
My name is Mary Jackson. I lived in Richmond since August 15th, 1968. And I was at Riverview for 50 plus years. I joined December 6, 1970. And I now live in Stafford, and we've been here since November 15th.
All right.
My name is Woodrow Jackson. I joined Riverview in 1971. We moved to Stafford, Virginia in November of 2024.
Long-time members.
Our past, because we migrated, I guess I want to say, to Richmond, and we don't have any family. We had a sister-in-law who lived there, but she wasn't a member of Riverview. Okay. Of course, she's passed away since that time. But no, we don't have any family members there. We just consider Riverview our family.
All right.
And of course, you know, I have several surrogate children at Riverview, grandchildren, what have you. So it's like family.
Okay.
I recall Reverend Jeep Smith, we call him. He was the first pastor, and we joined Riverview in 71 because our pastor in South Carolina knew Reverend Jeep Smith. And he told us about him, so we looked up Jeep Smith, Riverview, and the rest is history.
All right.
And may I add, adding to that, they were scout members together years prior to that. and they had made a pact, whoever passed away first would do the other one's funeral. So Jeep passed away first, and Dr. Wright came down and did his funeral at Ebenezer.
All right.
So that's how we got to Riverview.
Okay.
Well, I joined December 6, 1970, and you may remember Miss Betty Carter. She didn't give me a chance to get back to my seat, and she said, would you join Usher Board number 1? That's what it was at that time. But that was short-lived, because the next year, in March, I think it was, I was asked to organize a choir. And of course, my love for music, naturally, the ushers took a back seat. Not that I didn't like it, but I knew that I would have to spend more time with the music. So that's when I organized the gospel. It was the gospel choir. There was the youth choir, then it became the gospel choir, then it became the E.E. Smith, and after that it was named the Gospel Ensemble, which stayed together until the pandemic. And that's the longest any gospel choir has ever been together in Riverview. In its history, I think you know that.
Yes. Okay, and on that note, Brother Woodrow, maybe you can tell us this. What were some of your favorite songs?
Wow. My memory can't go back that far, but I do have one that the wife always calls it to my attention when it's being played, but I can't remember at the moment.
Okay.
I'll remember it for him if you don't mind. It is well with my soul.
Okay.
He always gives it a big smile, regardless to who plays it or who sings it.
Okay. Do you have any favorite songs? I know you know so many, Miss Jackson.
Greatest Thy Faithfulness is my favorite hymn.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite hymn.
Okay.
All I have needed, the Lord has provided. And I receive new mercies every morning. So that's my favorite hymn. But the favorite gospel choir, I love the song. You remember the version of Pass Me Not, O Gentle Savior?
Yes.
And I Know Who Holds Tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Those were songs back in the day. So those were some of my favorites. I had several, but I'll just name a few since we know that this is time
Okay.
limited.
And how many years you were the choir director?
30.
30 years.
And I eventually became director of music after Mr. Wade left, and then Miss Page and I were co-directors. And when she passed away, then I became director. So, but the total number of years was I retired after 30 years.
Did you play the piano and the organ?
I played piano and organ.
All right. All right. Okay, that's another one. Let's think about this.
Oh, before I go any further, let's share that we did do 3 live albums, if you recall.
Okay, 3 church albums. I remember that.
Yes, we did. We did.
Yes.
The company is no longer in existence, but we did do 3 albums, and that's history for Riverview.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Well, homecoming was always a fond memory. Each time homecoming would come, we would have members that had moved away or whatever, and I would look forward to seeing them again. So homecoming was one of the main ones.
Okay. Homecoming.
My fondest memory was the Bessie J. Page Memorial Concert. And that was music that we learned in Hampton. And we only did that music at that concert because she and I would attend. And after she passed away, we named it the Bessie J. Page Memorial Concert. And we invited her family. And that would be on homecoming.
All right.
That was my fondest memory.
Okay. And finally, as an esteemed honoree for this church anniversary, and as a church elder, what encouraging advice would you give to Riverview church goers today?
Well, I had to think about that.
Yes,
I
yes,
did.
yes.
You're asking me to talk, but anyway, I had to
Yes.
think about that. I would say that never throw away what we had, but be willing to accept the future. Once you join the two together, then you have diversity. And you cannot beat diversity
Okay.
in what you do because otherwise it's one-sided.
Right.
So we need the young, we need the old, we need the good, we need the not so good. Put it
Okay.
together, make it all good.
Okay. All right. You
I
can
would,
pray about
I
it.
would begin by saying pray and keep looking forward to bringing in new and young members.
Mm-hmm.
Riverview, when I joined in '71, I thought it was fairly old, middle, young, but as the years went by, the young people just kind of faded away.
Right.
And now with our new pastor, understand more people coming back and younger people coming back.
Yes, yes. And that's how life should be. The old should fade away, not the youth.
Rosa Turner. My name is Rosa Turner. I joined Riverview about 40 years ago.
Really, over 40.
Well, over 40, but anyway, I said 40. And my children, my husband, all us joined at the same time. I was on the deaconess board. Of course, I've been in church all my life anyway. I was raised in the church. Yeah.
Who was the pastor when you started at Riverview?
Reverend Smith.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, Reverend Smith.
And who else? Who came after Reverend Smith?
Reverend Reeves came after him.
Reverend Rivas?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then who came? Your favorite pastor?
Oh, yeah.
Who was that?
Reverend Hewitt.
Reverend Hewlett.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Reverend Hewitt. And, let me see, after him was,
We've got the new pastor now.
I don't know his name.
Yeah, you haven't been to church to meet him.
Uh-uh.
Okay. So, some of the activities that you participated in, what did you, some of those things?
I always was in the kitchen helping out.
Hospitality?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And, when we had Usher's program, I was in that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot going on that the deaconess did, and I was in all of them. And it was nice. I loved being in there like that. But Miss Johnson, that passed away, she helped me a lot, too. And I miss her. And all the girls that I was with, the ladies that I was with, gone on to glory. Carter, William, and all of them gone. But the good Lord kept me here for a reason, to help take care of my kids, raise my grandchildren. Now I'm raising my great-grand and my great-great-grand. So I can't have nothing to complain about. The good Lord been good to me. He been good to my children. None of them been to jail. And I praise and thank him for that. I just thank him for everything he do for me. Go out, the children take good care of me. My sons take good care of me. And I ain't have nothing to say but good things for the good Lord and myself. Because he took good care of me. My husband took good care of me. And when I was born and raised in North Carolina, I had one of the best grandmama, I think, on earth. Because I always wanted to be like her. She would come to church, her and two more ladies, and before they would come in, they would do this holy dance. And I always wanted to be like my grandmother. And I hope and pray that one of my children will live to see their age grow. And my father and my mother, they were religious people. We were going to church whether we wanted or not. Every Sunday. Sunday school. Prayer service. I was coming into church one night, and they said, we're going to have a prayer by little Miss Devereaux, Rosa Devereaux. And I asked the girl, I said, who they talking about? They said, they talking about you. I said, well, they ain't tell me I had to pray. I got up and prayed, and one of the mothers of the church came and said, "You said a beautiful prayer, honey." And I was so numb. I said, "Lord, you brought me through again there." And I remember that just like it was today. All of that.
Mom.
Anything you want to tell anybody at Riverview Baptist Church? Anything you want to say?
Just tell them God can do anything. Whatever they have worrying them or problem, just let God know, and He'll take and bless them. That's all they got to do. And I know He will, because He blessed me with the blood clot and all. And that was an angel came in that room and said, "Don't you worry, I done looked at your chart. You're going home and you're going to be all right." Well, the nurse stood me down, had nobody been in there. And some spoke and said that was an angel.
Amen.
And I told my children when they came to get me, I won't worry because God was with me.